It's late October and here in Yorkshire, and the Boston ivy on the houses got this magnificent colours. The leaves are all beginning to come off. These are the Bramley apples in this lovely sunshine. They're all beginning to fall off. I find it difficult to break the bulb. What do you think? Oh, that's it, it's away. I take the Windfalls down to a house down the road. They have a big pig. I mean, a seriously big pig, and it loves them. Yeah. Everything has made a remarkable recovery after the drought. This strawberry bed was absolutely dry, and now it's looking particularly good. Hopefully we'll get more strawberries than we did this year. So get a good idea of the sort of umbrella shape of this weeping ash tree. It's grown phenomenally over the past couple of years. And these are the eating apples. You can see something's been eating it there. There's a little ladybird in there. You can just see how this tree is festooned with apples, and they're about ready for picking too. This is the spindle tree. Which a friend of mine brought back from France as a seedling. And it produces these strange fruits, and inside the seeds are bright orange. I'll split this thing open. You can see them now. Later in the year, all these seed heads are beginning to split and scatter seeds everywhere. You get seedlings growing all over the place. But it is a very nice, and it's got this rather nice sort of pinkish foliage as well. It's called a spindle tree, seemingly, because they used to make spindles for mills, wooden spindles for spinning in mills. The wood is very dense, very hard. But it's unusual. You don't often see it. There's a whole range of fungus growing. And this is one of the red oaks, which is finding everything a bit of a struggle. But if they manage to get through this and become established at this time of year, they will look lovely. The sun shining through the those red leaves. Whilst everything else is dying off, the rosemary has suddenly took on a new life. It's become enormous. It's got masses of blue flowers, and there's a honeybee on them. In fact, there are several honeybees, which is amazing for the 22nd of October. And this is the bay tree, and this year it's produced fruit. It's just never done before. You often had flowers, but never had fruit. I don't know what all these little white things are here. Maybe they're next year's flowers. It's unusual to see them at this time of year. Oh, there's berries there. That's my the sage over there. We're down to one plant, so I've just taken 3 cuttings from it and I just stuck them in these pots here. I'll probably take them in when it gets too cold. A couple of cuttings. I lost a wonderful ceanothus about 5 or 6 years ago, so severe frost. So these will be to dig up and transplant in the other garden, and hopefully they will survive for a number of years. But they are very, very prone to severe damage by particularly hoarfrosts, where you get fog freezing on the leaves. That seems to be the the death of them. Of course, they come in a great variety of blues. This is quite a dark blue, which I quite like. And there's a little fountain on the pond. Frost damage there, that'll be to be probably collapse over the winter time. I've got another pot to replace it with, so we're all prepared. Anyway, the garden is gradually, as it were, going to sleep. To climb a Boston ivy on the outside of the house, I mean, at this time of year it looks quite spectacular with the beautiful orange, yellows and reds. But of course it can be a thorough nuisance if you let it get out of control. It's where it's come in this window here. Down over me fly tying box, and on its way down to the floor. It's interesting to watch. Like a triffid. Amazing. All in about 4 weeks. A woodpecker. He's hiding. It disappeared again. Oh, it's there. It's on this plum tree in the garden. There's a little hole where he sticks nuts in and then pecks the shell off. The hole in the tree is getting bigger and bigger. I haven't seen it for ages. I'm very wary. I think he knows I'm here, standing in the kitchen. It's a greater spotted woodpecker. You can see that red every now and then. You get that red flush on the back of his head, or her head. I'm playing hide and seek here. I've just come across this in the garden. This little 8-legged creature, this spider, has built that amazing construction there. It's attached sort of halfway up the hedge and then near the bottom, and then it goes about 3 feet across the lawn. I mean, how do they do it? How do they know what to do? I wonder what happens if I tap it. Because normally with these normally with these webs, a spider sits in the middle. Great big thing. But it's obviously gone walkabout. It's just amazing. Well, today is Halloween. It's time to pick these apples, long overdue. These are the Bramley apples. Not quite as big this year because of that drought we had in the summertime. And lots of windfalls. They fall onto the soft grass and from not a very great height. But I keep them separately because just in case one goes off, and I use them for feeding the birds in the winter time. The blackbirds love apples, as you can see there. There's one there which has already been decimated by a blackbird. And these are the brayburns, as you can see. There's an awful lot of them. So I pick them, and again, any with a blemish I keep separately for feeding birds in the winter time. They look quite magnificent. When they're ready to pick, they just come away in your hand very easily. Slight twist and they just come off. And then just place them in a container, don't drop them in, otherwise you bruise them and they don't keep very well. Well, that's a nice bucket of Bramley apples. They keep quite well, but the easiest way to keep them, of course, is to stew them. And then you can use a stew and freeze them. Then you can use the stewed apples as and when for making particularly apple crumble. which is really nice. Or apple pie. Oh, that's a nice bucket of Braeburn apples. I'll take them away and put them in a box carefully. And carry on and pick the rest. It's a lovely looking apple. Wonderful things. Well, we've had 2 or 3 heavy frosts over the evening and the trees are well on their way to losing their leaves. The oak trees always last. And the maples always do well. This wonderful sort of yellow orange colour. Some down there haven't turned yet. Lovely. Unfortunately, a portender of winter, which is not so lovely. Yeah, new catkins on the hazel. I mean, dormant until February next year, when it'll all extend, dispersing their pollen. First signs of spring. A rowan here with orange foliage and lovely red berries. So as winter approaches, all that remains to do is to cut back all this asparagus. But it looks so nice at the moment, so I'll just leave that for the time being and rake up all the leaves. Leaves piling up everywhere. I don't normally clear them up until they're all off, otherwise you're at it for weeks. But it won't be long now. Well, time is getting on and I'm going to go fishing, see if I can catch a Halloween barbo. Had one about 3 years ago. So, a wonderful big fish. And it's not a bad day today, but it's 1:30. And of course, it gets dark by 5:30.